Good evening, folks. This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates.
This is Ron Tyler with the Emergency Management Associates, coming to you live from the crossroads of the West in Lake City, Utah. The time right now is 7:05 p.m.
Very clear on the backside of the sun, and then the earth is rotated and the sun is hitting the earth is rotated around 3.5 miles southeast. The earth now in the solar wind is also
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who's joined us here on tonight's show this evening. As we've been doing, we're going to start off with the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. Would everybody please rise?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, is joining us from the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. We appreciate our armed forces, our military services, wherever they might be around the world. We appreciate them and honor them. I have shaken hands with many uniformed military servicemen and women. I want to thank them for their support, whether they be here in the United States or whether they be somewhere around the world. God bless them, God protect them, and also our allied armed forces as well. God bless you all, that you might return home to your families in safety when your tours of duty end. Thank you for your service, men and women. We love you very much. God bless you all. Folks, we have quite a bit to talk about tonight. I have done a lot of research during the past 24 hours. One of the last things that I want to do tonight is show you about a 30-second video of Larry, my good friend Larry Smith, down in Belize, Central America, celebrating a little one's birthday. Would you please now join me with this video? There was no sound with that video, and kind of appropriately so. I love that man. I've had a hard time with the notice of his passing. This is a man I greatly looked up to throughout the years. He was my friend. He was a father. He was a brother. He was a husband, and he was a great man, was known by hundreds, if not thousands of people for the services that he did for people that he cared about. God bless you, Larry. God bless you, helping prepare a place for the rest of us on the other side of the veil. Until we meet again, Larry, God be with you all. As I said, I've had a very hard time dealing with his passing. Like I said, I cared about the man a great deal. I worked with him. We grew to be very close over the years. And now I say goodbye, my friend. Enjoy your rest. Folks, we have a lot of things to do tonight. First off, I want to show you a picture here. This is the volcano in Iceland. Lilta Rutar. Lilta, L-I-T-L-A, Rutar, H-R-U-T-U-R. This is part of the northern flank of fissures that opened up here on the Lake James Peninsula. I'm now going to show you a movie showing you what has happened since this volcano erupted. This is the main volcanic fissure here. It's now formed a crater. People are coming from all over the world, literally, to visit this volcano. Molten lava is pouring out of this crater, as well as the fissures to the north of this crater. This is the main crater. As you can see, lava is cooling down on the ground. SO2 and CO2 emissions are all over this lava field. These are the fissures to the north of the main fissure of the volcano. As you can see, there's a great amount of lava already on the surface. And that one fissure right there has also formed a crater, and one of the crater walls has already fallen because of the great amount of lava that is poured out of it. People are all over this area. Those people you see with masks on, those are scientists that are around here scoping out the lava field and the damage to this area. The ground area where people are on is very spongy, not because of the lava, but just because of the ground. Some people cannot walk very fast. Most people cannot walk very fast through these fields because of the sponginess of the ground. I have a full link to a video of this and a lot more that you can see over on our program description below this video tonight. But this is a scene over at Reykjavik Peninsula tonight. People are all over that area getting a look at Lita Rutor volcano that has since erupted earlier this week. Like I said, you can see the rest of this video on the link that we have provided in our program description. And we want to thank Guntar for giving us this video. I left him a message telling him that we would be airing this about 2 minutes of his video, and that's what we've done. I want to pay tribute to them. They go out of their way to put together video of these volcanoes over on Iceland, and they've done a great job. They have about 76,000 subscribers, and I pay tribute to that. That means they've done a good job of putting out the information that they have done. So folks, that's what's going on. Okay? Next, I want to take you over literally around the world on the USGS map. The first thing I'm going to show you is over here in the North Atlantic. This is northeast of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Right here, ladies and gentlemen, we had what amounts to a huge earthquake. This was a 6.6 very strong earthquake in the North Atlantic. This happened last night at about 18-12 hours, 6:12 p.m., after we had already begun on the air. Now we have this earthquake here. This earthquake here is a 4.4 aftershock. And this is not just one of them. This is many aftershocks that resulted from the 6.6 magnitude earthquake that hit here yesterday evening. More earthquakes are going to hit. Every time we get one of these very strong 6 magnitude earthquakes, 6.0 to 6.9 magnitude earthquakes, every time it results in many, many, many aftershocks. There was only one foreshock. It was a 5.0. Then the 6.6, and there's been many, many other aftershocks. If you want to go over to the EMSC website, you can see most of the aftershocks, but even EMSC is not putting them all down for whatever reason. But again, the agencies don't want us to know what's going on. I believe that's one of the biggest reasons that the EMSC has not been putting up all the earthquakes, just like the other agencies. They don't want people to know what is happening. Today, over in the U.S. Virgin Islands, U.S. and British Virgin Islands, I might say, this is a 3.2 in the Leeward Islands. Okay, This is a 3.4 northeast of Cruz Bay, U.S. Virgin Islands. Just to the northwest, a 3.6, also 50 miles north of Cruz Bay, U.S. Virgin Islands. Getting over to Puerto Rico.
Location Valdese. Last flight magnitude 4.5. 23 minutes ago.
4.5 earthquake hit in the Andaman Sea over north of Sumatra in Indonesia, just east of India. Okay? And that's also west of Thailand and Laos, Cambodia, and that area over in the ocean, in the Indian Ocean. Okay, over here north of Puerto Rico, this is a 3.4 earthquake. Just east of there is another 3.6. Much east of there, this is just north of central Puerto Rico, this is the 3.1. North of Tierras Nuevas, Poniente, Puerto Rico. Okay? Notice where these earthquakes are located. They're just south of the Cayman Ridge. The Cayman Ridge, folks, let me pull out here. The Cayman Ridge comes from over here in Guatemala. It flows eastbound out of Guatemala out into the Caribbean Sea. Then it goes north and then continues east, just south of the Cayman Islands. It continues east north of Jamaica. It skirts the coast of Cuba, the southern coast of Cuba. It goes north of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. It continues eastbound over north of Puerto Rico. These earthquakes that occur just south of the Cayman Ridge were dropped by the Cayman Ridge Earthquake Superhighway. That's how this works. Okay? All of those earthquakes. Now, this 6.6, where did it come from? I believe it may have come also from the Cayman Ridge. Okay? That's my guess. It's close to the Cayman Ridge. We've had large earthquakes similar to this off the Cayman Ridge before. And so I believe that's how it got here. Now this 4.4 earthquake is here. And I don't think it will be the last. Anytime we get one of these 6.0, 6.9 earthquakes, very strong earthquakes, we have aftershocks for years afterwards. Years afterwards. Okay? I want to point out earthquakes out here in the Mona Passage. The Mona Passage is between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. This earthquake is a 2.7 just west of Puerto Rico. 15 miles west-southwest of Stella, Puerto Rico. Going further east and south, this is a 2.7. This is 1 mile east-southeast of Hormigueros, Puerto Rico. This is one of the same areas where we had 4 years ago 2 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes. One 8.0, one 8.4. December 28th, the 8.0 here. Then on the 30th, we had the 8.4. They were man-made earthquakes. Man-made earthquakes. It came from this company here. Please do not put this in the chat. I do not even like using this word on the air because we have been taken down for using that word. We're not supposed to. Either it is secret or they do not want anyone knowing what this organization does. Okay? I did a little bit of a study for you, or put together a study for you months ago showing the facility in Alaska. They also have a facility over in Northwest Australia. They have several in Russia. They have one over in Norway. When this earthquake happened 4 years ago, I shouldn't say just earthquakes, the 8.0 and the 8.4. After they happened, we triangulated these locations, these facility locations. That's how we found out that that organization was responsible for the earthquakes in Puerto Rico. Okay? And there hasn't been one day go by since those earthquakes hit that we have not had aftershocks. All these earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico are examples of the aftershocks from those two earthquakes. Today, this 2.7 near Hormigueros, Puerto Rico. Just south of there, this is a 2.5. And USGS has mislabeled the location of this quake. On the USGS map, they have it in the Mona Passage. It is not. As you can see, this is in southwestern Puerto Rico, not in the Mona Passage. USGS, get your head out of your butts. Southwest of there, this is a 2.6, west-northwest of Fugue, Puerto Rico. This one that just happened in red that I turned blue, this is a 2.4 here. South of there, out in the ocean, in the Caribbean, this is a 2.5 that is south-southwest of Guanica, Puerto Rico, where my friend Dominic lives. Over here, this is also an aftershock of those two earthquakes. This is a 2.4, 10 miles south of Ponce, Puerto Rico. Okay? All of these earthquakes here, like I said, are aftershocks of the two man-made major earthquakes. Anything over 7.0. Everything above 7.0, 8.0, 9.0 and above are considered major life-threatening earthquakes. Major earthquakes that can cause catastrophic destruction. And that's exactly what happened here in southwestern Puerto Rico. Catastrophic destruction. People's homes and businesses were flattened. A natural monument, a huge sandstone arch that stood down here on the coast here in southern Puerto Rico was destroyed. That arch was very literally nearly the same kind of arch that we can see in the Arches National Park in Utah. And it was destroyed by that 4.4 earthquake. Probably weakened by the 8.0, but it was destroyed by the 8.4. That's how hard the ground shook in this region after those earthquakes hit. A lot of destruction. Homes and businesses destroyed. Some homes people could not go back into. People lost their lives because of those earthquakes. And there's no retribution because those agencies deny having anything to do with it. That's what happens when you have these rogue agencies out there committing violence against people. Okay? And I'm not going to take back anything I said. It's true and it stands as evidence against them. Over here in Central America, and this is not to be taken by anything but a grain of salt. This is what USGS wants us to know about. There are many other earthquakes over here in Central America, but USGS shows us this one. This is a 4.5, 12 miles northwest of Francisco y Madero, Mexico. Okay, southern Mexico. As you can see down here in central South America. These are the earthquakes that they want us to know about. There's about a dozen and a half more than this. Okay? This earthquake here, just west of Chile here, is a 5.0 in the southern East Pacific Rise. This is not the only earthquake to hit here since yesterday. This is the second one. Yesterday's 5.2 hit here in the exact same place on the southern East Pacific Rise. Okay? These other earthquakes over here in south central Chile, a 4.5 near the coast of Araucanía, Chile. North of there, this is a 4.3 near Valparaiso, west-southwest of Valparaiso, Chile. Going north, okay, this is on the border between Chile and Argentina. This is a 4.5, 32 miles west-northwest of San Antonio de los Cobres, Argentina. Like I said, on the border of Chile and Argentina. There's two other earthquakes there. This is a 4.4 here. This is a 4.4. This was a 4.5. Okay? This one was 122 kilometers deep. I'm sorry, 122 miles deep. This was 121 miles deep. This was 137 miles deep. Notice the differentiation of depth on these earthquakes. This one here is a 4.4, and it's about 10 miles deeper, actually 15 miles deeper than the others. Okay? It's in the Andes Mountains here. In the Andes Mountains. An earthquake up here. Okay? This is off of Marcavelica, Peru, northern Peru. This is a 4.6, 32 miles deep, a fairly shallow earthquake. North of there in Ecuador, we had a 4.5 yesterday. But again, they're not going to show us what they don't want us to see. Okay? Let's go over here to the South Pacific here. Over to the islands. This is a 4.7 moderate earthquake. 4.0, 4.9 are considered to be moderate earthquakes. Now, Earthquake Tracker, the application. I've got Earthquake Tracker Pro. I have my Earthquake Map Pro. Every one of these are identified as light earthquakes. They are not light earthquakes. A 2.0, 2.9 is considered to be a light earthquake. 3.0, 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. 4.0 to 4.9 are considered to be moderate earthquakes capable of light destruction, possibly. Mild destruction, like knocking pictures and photos off of walls, knocking knickknacks and books off of shelves. 5.0 to 5.9 are considered to be large earthquakes. Those are capable of taking life, knocking down homes, leveling homes and business buildings. 6.0 to 6.9, like that earthquake was yesterday in the North Atlantic, just northeast of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands. That earthquake was a 6.6, very strong earthquake. 6.0 to 6.9 are considered to be very strong earthquakes. Okay? But this 4.7 was not light. It was a moderate earthquake. 327 miles deep. This was a very deep earthquake. And we know what happens when we have deep earthquakes. They propagate. They propagate stronger, shallower earthquakes. as a result of this 4.7, we can look to a 5.5 earthquake as a result of this earthquake today. In the past 2 days, there's also been 3 other moderate deep earthquakes in the same area, also capable of anywhere from 5.3 to 5.7 magnitude earthquakes, large earthquakes. That means we're probably going to see at least 4 mid-range 5 earthquakes anywhere near here in the Tongan Islands, the Fiji Islands, in the Vanuatu Islands, the Solomon Islands, and even west over here into Papua New Guinea. Okay? Or they could also go across the ocean eastbound over here to Easter Island area where this earthquake here hit, this 5.0. Or it could go over here to Chile. We've seen that happen too, over into Chile and Argentina. Over here in the South Atlantic Ocean today, in the South Sandwich Islands, this is a 5.2 earthquake here. This hit at 15:38 hours, 3:38 p.m. Eastern Time. A 5.2 large earthquake, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. A fairly shallow quake. On the other hand, here we have a 5.1 also in the South Sandwich Islands. This is 18 kilometers deep. Still a very shallow earthquake. These large earthquakes are going to follow up here into the South Atlantic Ridge. The South Atlantic Ridge, and they will progress north into the mid-North Atlantic and further north into the North Atlantic Ocean. Up here, where USGS is not telling us about any earthquakes, in Iceland, that's a fallacy. That's a fallacy. There are at least 20 earthquakes here in Iceland today, and more right here, where that volcano is erupting today. Okay? Anytime you get a volcanic eruption, there are going to be earthquakes. And other than that, we've also told you that the mid-Atlantic plate is expanding. It's expanding out to the west and also to the east. Also to the east. It's expanding over into Europe, Scandinavia. It's expanding over to Greenland and Canada. It's expanding over into the North American Craton, the North American plate, the continental United States and Canada is being pushed in a south-southwesterly direction as a result of that mid-Atlantic expansion. We're going to talk more about the earthquakes that this is creating tomorrow. We're going to show you earthquakes on the East Coast that are a result of that mid-Atlantic expansion, and earthquakes over on the New Madrid Fault tomorrow night. Today, on the New Madrid Fault, we've had a 1.6 earthquake. This is in Howardville, Missouri. A 1.6 tremor, Howardville, Missouri. Okay? This is also 4.4 miles deep on the middle of the New Madrid Fault. Why did it happen? Folks, the New Madrid Fault is getting pushed by the Mid-Atlantic Fault. How is that possible? With the Mid-Atlantic Ridge expanding, it's putting pressure on the North American continental United States and Canada, the North American craton. That pressure is putting pressure from the east on the Pneumatid Fault. Not just that. Let's look over here to the west coast. As you may or may not know, yesterday over here in the middle of the Gulf of California here, we had a 4.5 magnitude earthquake right here on the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault starts up off the North California coast. It runs all the way through California, through northern Mexico, into the Gulf of California. We had a 4.5 earthquake right here yesterday. We also have seismic energy, whether USGS wants to admit it or not. The seismic energy is running up the Mexican coast, the coast of Mexico, the southwestern coast, and it's running north. And it's pushing energy up here into northern Mexico and up here into Southern California and Arizona. We also have energy coming from two other ways, two other places. We have energy coming from all the way over here in the South Pacific. This seismic energy comes from the plume in the deep core of the earth down here, and we have earthquakes resulting. This earthquake down here south of the Fiji, in the Fiji region, this 4.7 today. This is just an example. We've had 6 and 7 magnitude earthquakes down here recently. That energy is running through the 7 different plates that are subducting one under each other over here. 7 different continental plates, tectonic plates that are moving. And that's the result of all this seismic energy here. USGS shows one earthquake just now, a 4.4 in the Valdese Sea. This is 79 kilometers deep. I'm sorry, 79 miles deep. I've converted it to miles here. That's about 100 kilometers deep. Okay? That's just one earthquake. They're not showing any of the other earthquakes. Over here in the Andaman Sea, okay, we just got told of a 4.4 earthquake, and USGS is not even showing it. Okay? They're not showing any, well, excuse me, they're not showing but one earthquake here in Indonesia today. That's a fallacy. There are about 20 other earthquakes here in Indonesia. That seismic energy is moving north. And you can see the earthquake faults coming out of this area northward. Okay? This earthquake over here in Tobelo, Indonesia, this is a 4.4. They're not showing any earthquakes at all over here in the Philippines. There are about 12 earthquakes in the Philippines today. We're showing one earthquake here, over here in northern Taiwan. This is a 3.1. Did you know yesterday we had 2 4.4 and 4.5 earthquakes here near Taiwan? All that energy coming out of Indonesia and the Philippines is coming up here towards Taiwan. And it moves through these earthquake faults. The Japanese trench here, going upwards on the east side of Japan here. We also have the Mariana Trench here, also leaving the South Pacific. All this energy here is moving north. USGS is not showing any earthquakes in Japan, which is a lie. There are several earthquakes here in Japan. They're just not talking about it. They're not showing any earthquakes here in the Kamchatka Peninsula area of Russia, Lie again. Over here in the Rat Islands, we've had an earthquake today. This actually just happened. This is a 3.7. Small earthquake here in the Aleutian Islands near the Rat Islands today. Over here in the Andreanof Islands, going to the east here, this is a 2.8 earthquake. Just north of there, this is a 0.7 microquake. And it's not just that. Let me show you something else. Look where we've had these earthquakes. This is a volcano, and that volcano has been putting out steam. This is a 0.7 microquake. This is a 1.0 tremor. This is a 1.2 tremor at a volcano just north of the Aleutian Islands here in the Andreanof Islands. Okay? Then we can go east. All that energy from the South Pacific is coming up this way. And we've shown this energy many times in many ways throughout the years we've been doing this. Okay? This energy also goes up here into Alaska. All of these earthquakes here are a result of the earthquakes that have happened down in the Southern Pacific. Every one of them. That energy moves north into Alaska. Okay? Over here, this is Tectonic, Alaska. Okay? This is a 1.7. This is a 1.1 Southern Alaska, they say. Interesting. Over here to the east, Eagle River, Alaska. This is just east of Anchorage. This is a 1.2 tremor. Further south here, I was going to show you this. This is a 0.4 near Karluk, Alaska. Look at these swarms here. I'm going to explain to you why we are having these swarms here. Okay? I'm just going to point out several of the earthquakes that have hit. This is a 1.9 tremor. This is a 1.4 tremor. Tremors are 1.0 to 1.9 magnitude earth movements. Okay? They can't be felt. These are tremors. Okay? This is a 1.0, also 50 miles north-northwest of Karluk. What you're not being told is this is at Old Ililama Volcano. Old Ililama Volcano. Here's a 0.2 microquake. Old Ililama Volcano, guys. That's why these tremors and quakes are hitting here. It's a volcano. It's a volcano. Going north, okay? Remember me telling you about this earthquake a minute ago? 1.1 in southern Alaska. This is west of another volcano, west of Mount Redoubt. Today we don't have any earthquakes even near Mount Redoubt except this one to the north. This is Skretna, Alaska. This is a 1.7 tremor. This may be related to Mount Redoubt, however. Okay? And it would be the only one related to Mount Redoubt here. Then I want to go up here into Denali National Park. Mount McKinley area. This is on the southwest side of Mount McKinley. This is a 1.8 tremor up here in Denali National Park. USGS has this as 31 miles north-northwest of Petersville. Again, USGS is not showing exactly where these earthquakes are happening. They want to put it out as some other location. This is a 1.3, and this time they're putting this east-southeast of Denali National Park. Wrong again. This is west-northwest of Denali National Park. It's a 1.3 tremor. It's not east, southeast of anything. It's north-northwest of Denali National Park. In Denali National Park itself. North of there, this is a 2.0 minor earthquake. 26 miles east of Denali. Wrong. Wrong. This is northwest of Denali. East is to the right. West is to the left. Again, they refuse to be honest about where these earthquakes are. Okay? Then we go up here into central Alaska. I'm only going to highlight a few earthquakes here. This is a 1.0 tremor. They say this is northern Alaska. It is not. It is central Alaska. This earthquake here is another 1.0. They say is in northern Alaska. It's not. It's in central Alaska. This is a 1.4 they're saying is in northern Alaska. This is a 1.4 in central Alaska. There is nothing north. Okay? North would be up here. North would be up here. See this gray kind of region here? This is the Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle. Up here is the North Shore of Alaska, where we have oil and gas pumping operations going. Okay? This here is Katavik, Alaska. Katavik, Alaska. We reported on earthquakes here in Katavik, Alaska before. Okay? But again, all those earthquakes down in the South Pacific, they're definitely having a heyday with earthquakes here. All that seismic energy from the south is pushing on the earthquake superhighways. Okay? Out of the Aleutian Island ridge here. You can see this earthquake superhighway coming up here into the Gulf of Alaska. Then it moves south-southeast. South-southeast. You see this earthquake up here to the north here? This is Yakutak, Alaska. Yakutak, Alaska. It's also coming from the Gulf of Alaska, from the Aleutian Island chain. A 1.9 tremor here. Then that energy continues south here. See that earthquake superhighway coming out of Alaska? Skirting the west side of Queen Charlotte Island here, British Columbia, and continuing south down here, branching into the Juan de Fuca Fault and the Cascadia subduction zone. The Cascadia subduction zone fault here runs all the way parallel to the shoreline of British Columbia, Canada, and the United States of America, going all the way down here south to Northern California. Okay? This is where the Cascadia subduction zone meets up with the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment is this westerly earthquake fault running out into the Pacific, and it gradually makes its way through the North Pacific all the way up to the Kamchatka Peninsula. But this Gorda Escarpment also joins the Cascadia subduction zone and that other huge fault line that runs through California called the San Andreas Fault. This, folks, is the Triple Junction. The Triple Junction. Earthquakes coming out of Alaska come down the Cascadia subduction zone and the Juan de Fuca Fault. The Juan de Fuca Fault, guys, is this other fault line that's running zigzag out to the west of the Cascadia subduction zone. That Juan de Fuca Fault comes in contact with this Blanco fracture zone that runs from northwestern Pacific down here into the northeastern Pacific, closer to the Cascadia subduction zone, the Blanco fracture zone. Then it hooks up with the Gorda Ridge. The Gorda Ridge that runs north to south down here to link up with the Gorda Escarpment. So all that energy running out of the South Pacific, running north, comes south here. It comes south, causing earthquakes up and down the whole western United States and Canada. Okay? And you can see the earthquakes running down the California coast, and we're going to be talking about Southern California in just a minute. But I wanted to show you this. Remember me telling you that there's seismic energy coming out of South America, going up through Central America, up through Mexico, coming here to Southern California? That's what's happening. And when we have earthquakes over here in California, all that seismic energy then moves east. It moves east, and we see earthquakes over here. As that seismic energy traverses the North American plate, we see earthquakes, such as this one here. This is in what they call White City, Western Texas, not White City, New Mexico. That is a fallacy. It's not White City, New Mexico. That's a 2.0 earthquake here. This is a 2.0 earthquake here as well. Okay? 2 twin earthquakes here. 2 twin minor earthquakes here in southwestern Texas. We go west. Over here in southern Texas, this is a 1.9, 2.0 earthquake here in southern Texas. To the north, this earthquake just happened right before we came on the air. This is the 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. They have it 6 miles south of Wilson, Oklahoma. Okay? We told you that there are 586,000 oil and gas operations here, plots on the ground, oil and gas pumping out of Oklahoma. 586,000 pumps and jacks all over Oklahoma. This earthquake is west of that. Okay? You can see these operations to the east here. All kinds of oil and gas happening here. You can see the plots here, all over this area. Folks, this earthquake here is a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake here. Anything within 10 miles north, south, east, or west of any of these pumping operations, the earthquake is a result of oil and gas pumping. Oil and gas pumping. There's also pumps and jacks to the north of it as well. So this is an oil and gas earthquake. Okay? How's that possible, Ron? You don't see any pumps and jacks right there. Let me tell you. The drill points, when they drill into the earth to get oil and gas, some of those drill points run parallel to the ground. They go into the ground and run parallel to the surface. Some of them go as much as 5 miles deep into the ground. Others of them go anywhere from 100 yards to 5 miles deep. They go parallel, and they go down, and they also go perpendicular at different angles to get into the oil. This is an oil and gas quake here in Oklahoma. Also to the north, look at this. This is a 1.3, just outside of town. Look at this. Oil and gas pumping operations all over this place. All over. You can see them south of this earthquake as well. Oil and gas pumping all over here. This is a 1.3 tremor here. Okay? North of there we have 3 more here. This is right next to a pumping operation near Kingfisher, Oklahoma. 6 miles west of Kingfisher, Oklahoma. Look at that. Right next to an oil and gas pumping operation here. You can see it. And pumping operations adjacent to that as well. The earthquake just north of there. This is a 1.7 also near Kingfisher, Oklahoma. The pumping operations are all over this area as well. Let's go north. There's more, guys. There's more. Up here. Look at these quakes. This is a small swarm of quakes. This is a 2.1 earthquake. This is a 2.0 earthquake. This also is a 2.1 earthquake, right next to oil and gas pumping operations. Look at that. Right next to oil and gas pumping operations, guys. Okay? 586,000 oil and gas pumping operations here in Oklahoma. And that's just here in Oklahoma. There's more in Kansas, there's more in Texas as well. There's oil and gas in Utah. Yeah, oil and gas in Utah. Okay? Let's go over here to western Montana. We've had some earthquakes here. Okay, I'm going to get to California. Give me a minute here. Okay? I want to show you this. This is also important. This is the Idaho-Montana border region. This is a 3.7 small earthquake. A 3.7 small earthquake. Idaho and Montana, guys. Idaho and Montana. What do you know about Montana and Idaho? Here's a 2.5 near Lima, Montana. This is 0.7 near Lima, Montana. This is 0.8 near Lima, Montana. South here, this is 0.7. This is 0.7, guys. What do we know about Idaho and Montana? Folks, if you haven't already figured out, this is part of the Yellowstone caldera. Part of the Yellowstone caldera. The Yellowstone caldera, folks, is 11 Grand Canyons in size. 11 Grand Canyons in size. USGS put a halt to that map, and we're bringing it up right now. Okay? 11 Grand Canyons in size, guys. That's incredible. It's just incredible. And there's earthquakes there. Earthquakes all over this area. This, folks, is 1.4 Idaho-Montana border region. Over here, this is Hebgen Lake Estates. Hebgen Lake Estates. This is northwest of Yellowstone. The Hebgen Lake Estates, guys. Let's take a look at this. Okay? This is 19 miles west-northwest of Hebgen Lake. This is very interesting. It's a 1.1 tremor. Very interesting. West-northwest of Hebgen Lake. Hebgen Lake, guys, is a huge lake. It's also the location of a 7.2 magnitude earthquake that hit here in 1959. A 7.2 magnitude earthquake that hit here in 1959. This down here is Hebgen Lake. When that earthquake hit in 1959, guys, when that earthquake hit, it slid a highway, 2-lane blacktop, one in each direction. Slid that blacktop into the lake. Nobody was killed, luckily. But a cabin also slid into the lake. All unreinforced masonry, fireplaces, and walls fell. If that earthquake hit today, because this place is so populated now, it's not overly populated, but it's populated. If that earthquake hit here now, people would be killed. People would be killed. There's different building standards now, so I don't think as much masonry would fall, but would still fall, as well as homes and businesses here near Hebgen Lake and Yellowstone, and probably all over Montana, all the way down to southern Utah. Yes, folks, the Hebgen Lake earthquake in 1959 was felt as far south as St. George, Utah. Think about that when you think about Hebgen Lake. Think about that when you think about over here in Yellowstone. Yellowstone has had earthquakes here before. This is a 1.1 in Yellowstone National Park here, Wyoming. This one just southwest of Yellowstone Lake here is a 1.9 near east northeast of Warm River, Idaho, at the Idaho, Montana, Wyoming border. This, folks, right here is Yellowstone Lake. And you can also see here, let me back that out again. You can also see here on the map, see those red lines? Those are fault zones around this lake, on the north side of this lake. I have swam here, I have fished here in Yellowstone Lake before. Okay? But that is what's happening here. Yeah, we had a 3.7 earthquake up at the Idaho-Montana border. It's all part of the huge Yellowstone caldera. The huge Yellowstone caldera. Like I said, the seismic energy runs from west to east. West to east. Up here in Washington, this is a 2.6 in the Puget Sound region of Washington. A 2.6 minor earthquake. Over here on the west side of Mount Rainier, we have a 0.1 here, a minor microquake. This is a 0.4 microquake. Again, USGS has misidentified the location of both of these earth movements. These are in the foothills of Mount Rainier, not Ashford, Washington. USGS has them linked to Ashford, Washington. Wrong. They are in the western foothills of Mount Rainier. And they are not all the tremors and earthquakes that have hit here at Mount Rainier today. There have been plenty more. They have no earthquakes at all listed here at Mount St. Helens. They have no earthquakes listed here at Mount Adams. They have no listed here at Mount Hood. They're wrong. South here to Sisters Volcanoes. Sisters Volcanoes is a volcanic complex. 3 separate and distinct volcanoes here at Sisters Volcanoes. They don't have anything listed here, but there are. Plenty of tremors and minor earthquakes here, all up and down the volcanic range in the Cascade Mountain Range. Here in Yamhill, Oregon, this is 0.9 microquake. Okay? It's incredible. It's incredible. They're not showing exactly what is happening. If they were, folks, USGS would not be showing 251 earthquakes on their USGS map. They would be showing closer to 1,100. Yeah, folks, 1,100 earthquakes across and around the world. They're not showing squat. Squat. Okay, over here in Europe, look at this. This is a 4.5 in Bosnia-Herzegovina. Okay, they're showing that. They're showing this one earthquake in Greece. Isn't that nice? This is, by the way, the Volcanic Islands of Greece. It's on the western side of Turkey. They're not showing any earthquakes here in Turkey and Syria, and there's about 70 of them. Okay? They're not showing any earthquakes here in Italy. None. Zero zilch. Not a one. They're not showing any earthquakes around here in Switzerland and Germany and Austria. They're not showing any earthquakes here in Spain and Portugal. They're not showing any earthquakes over here just east of this wonderful place called the Strait of Gibraltar. None. They're not showing any down here in the Canary Islands. Nothing up here in the Azores. There are. Okay? Up here, where the mid-Atlantic fault meets the Azores, there's earthquakes here and they're not showing them. Those earthquakes are mostly related to volcanism. Volcanism. Now, folks, let us go to California. I want to show you what's going on in California. Here in Southern California. There are a lot of earthquakes here in Southern California that you don't know about. Okay? Just briefly, I'm going to show you some of them. Look at this. This is one that's a 1.5 tremor. Over here, just off the coast of Ventura, a highly populated area. A 1.5 just off the coast of Ventura. Over here, east of that, about 75 miles east of that, this is in Chatsworth, California, a 1.7. Up here north of there, this is the Grapevine. This is where the San Andreas Fault, south of the Grapevine, meets up with the Garlock Fault here. The Garlock Fault. This is a 1.3 tremor here. Three of them. A 1.3, a 1.8, and also another 1.8 here in the Grapevine. One of the most dangerous areas to be traveling on. The freeway has dangerous downhill curves. There are hundreds of accidents here in the Grapevine every year. Hundreds of accidents here in the Grapevine every year. Okay? So we go back down here. The greater Los Angeles area, they're not showing one. They're not showing any earthquakes. What a travesty that is. It's a lie. This one up here. Folks, I'm going to show you a seismogram in a few minutes here in Fontana. They're showing a 0.7 microquake here. I'm telling you, there are earthquakes here in Fontana today. I'm going to prove it to you. South of that, this is in Loma Linda. Loma Linda. They're showing a 0.9 tremor here. I'm going to show you what's really happening here. We have minor earthquakes and tremors all over Loma Linda, Mira Loma area here. We go south. This is Yucaipa, 1.6 here. Here's another 0.8. This is a 1.4. Okay, let's go south. This is San Jacinto, a 0.7 microquake, San Jacinto, and a 0.8 here. We go east. Again, I'm going to show you seismograms in these areas, San Jacinto and Cabazon. This is a 0.5 in Cabazon. I'm going to show you that Cabazon is crazy with tremors and minor earthquakes in Cabazon. Folks, this is the Anza Gap, where we're going to see a lot of earthquakes and tremors. This is Idlewild, California. I'm going to show you earthquakes here, southwest of there. This is the Anza Gap again, a 0.4 tremor, and another 0.5 here, southwest of there. This is Palomar Observatory, northeast San Diego County. I'm going to show you earthquakes here at Palomar Observatory. Unreal. East of Palomar. Again, this is the Anza Borrego Desert State Park. Okay, this is a 0.5, this is 0.6, and this is a 0.9. The Anza Borrego Desert State Park. We've seen what happens here in this park when we get a lot of tremors and earthquakes. I'm going to show you that again tonight. Okay, west of there. This is a lake called Lake Henshaw. Lake Henshaw is just northeast of Escondido. This happens to be south-southwest of Lake Henshaw. USGS has this wrong as well. This is not south-southeast, it's south-southwest of Lake Henshaw. I used to fish here. I used to do a lot of fishing here at Lake Henshaw. This is a 0.8 tremor. I call it a tremor. It's actually a microquake. I'm calling it a tremor because I saw them downgrade it. Okay? Further south here, this is in the Chocolate Mountains. Borrego Springs. Have you heard of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park? That's what this is. It goes all the way north. That's just south of Idlewild in the San Bernardino Mountains. This is in Borrego Springs. This is a 0.8 and this is a 1.2 tremor. South of there, also in the Chocolate Mountains, this is Ocotillo, California. This is a 1.2 tremor, Ocotillo, California. Up here, this is Westmoreland, California, just south of the Salton Sea. We're showing two disturbances here. This is a 1.9 tremor, 2.0 earthquake. This is a 2.0 earthquake. This 1.9 was a 2.0. They downgraded it to a 1.9. Westmoreland, California. Okay? And folks, I want to tell you this too. Okay? They're saying this is 7 miles north of Westmoreland. It's part of Westmoreland. The town of Westmoreland is down here. The town of Westmoreland is down here. So yes, it's 7 miles north of Westmoreland. It's still Westmoreland. Then, folks, we go down here. This is just east of El Centro. El Centro is here. The town of El Centro is right here. The Naval Air Station is just northwest of El Centro itself. Okay? I'm going to show you earthquakes here in El Centro that they're not even showing. A lot of earthquakes in El Centro that they're not showing. So this earthquake here east of El Centro is nothing new, a 1.3. Northeast of that is Holtville. They're showing a 1.9, 2.0 here. I'm going to show you a lot of tremors and earthquakes happening here in Holtville tonight. I have seismograms to prove it. They may lie, they may cheat, they may steal, but when you have the data, they can't say no. They're lying. Folks, this is what they call a 1.3 tremor here. They say this is 2 miles west-northwest of Heber, California. Heber, California is down here. Heber, California is right next to Mexico, or right next to Calexico in California. And that Calexico is just north of Mexicali down here, just south of the border. There are earthquakes down here as well. So let's get going here. I want to show you what's going on in California today, Southern California. Okay, let's do that right now. Okay, this, folks, here, let me enlarge this so you can see it. Okay, this is the Baldwin Hills. The Baldwin Hills is an oil and gas property over on the northwest side of Los Angeles, a huge area. The Baldwin Hills used to be a forested set of hills. They plowed it down, knocked down all the trees and the brush that was here, and they put oil and gas pumps and jacks all over this area. You can look at it on the USGS map, it's there, but they're not showing anything, are they? Nothing. You can see the tremors here. It's all over here. These are not microquakes. None of what I'm showing you here right now is microquakes at all. These are tremors that are happening at the Baldwin Hills. These are 1.2, 1.3 tremors here. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Okay? They don't want you to know about what is going on. It's sad but true. They don't want you to know what's going on. Now, I'm going to go out to Barstow. Okay, look at this. This is out in the desert. And I'm going to go alphabetical tonight, just for kicks and giggles, going between Los Angeles out to the desert, back to Los Angeles, just to offer up just a little bit of different manner of style on showing you these earthquakes. Look what's happening in Barstow. This is a San Andreas fault out here. Look what we're having. These are tremors here. Microquakes and tremors all during the day in Barstow here. The seismogram starts at 5 a.m. in the morning and goes throughout the day today. Okay? That's in Barstow. Let's go out to that area, Cabazon, I told you about. Remember that earthquake I showed you just a few minutes ago? Let's go out and show you what's happening in Cabazon. Look at this. Okay? They show you 0.7 microquake, huh? Look what's going on. We have 1.2 tremors. We have 1.5, 1.6, 1.8 tremors off and on all day here. It's not a 0.7 microquake. This is how they lie. They don't want you to know what's going on in the Anza Gap. This is what's actually happening here. Okay? Let's go out to Fontana. Remember me telling you about Fontana? Okay? Remember me showing you Fontana just a few minutes ago? They said there was a 0.7 microquake in Fontana. Guess what? Look at this. This is what's going on. This is what's actually going on. Yes, there may be some 0.7 microquakes here. There are a lot of tremors here, but we also have earthquakes here. Look at the top one. Look at the black top line. This is at 5:03 a.m. this morning. It's a 2.3 magnitude earthquake. A 2.3 at 5:03 this morning. Look all over this seismogram. We're having a lot of 2.3 and even 2.5 earthquakes. Look at the bottom red line here. Okay? I pulled this right after 1 o'clock this afternoon. Look at this. Over here, just after 1300. That's 1 p.m. this afternoon. Look at the black line here. The black line here is visible at 1:01 p.m. That is a 3.0 here at Fontana. That is a 3.0 earthquake here at Fontana this afternoon. Yeah, we have a bunch of 2s. Granted, we have a bunch of 2s, 2.5s, 2.6s, 2.7s. But folks, we've been having some 3.0 earthquakes here as well. This 3.0 is the largest earthquake we've seen in Fontana since I've been doing this. Okay? Look at this. This is proof. This is proof that they're not telling us the truth. They show one activity at Fontana, and we show all of these earthquakes here. Tremors and earthquakes, a lot of them. And yet they still cannot tell the truth. I would really like that. For once, I would really like to be told the truth. The truth affects all of us, guys. The truth, again, affects all of us. Camarillo, California, look at this. Again, the seismogram starts at 5 a.m. this morning and goes until 1500 this afternoon, which is 3 p.m. But I pulled these seismograms before that. Look at these microquakes and minor tremors. 1.1, 1.2 tremors here. Okay? Camarillo, California. How about Catalina Island? This is out to sea, off the coast. Again, look at all these tremors. Seismic activity is hitting us off the coast. And I'm going to show you not just that, but many others just off the coast. Look at the Channel Islands. These are just tremors off the Channel Islands today. Isn't that something? It's crazy. It's crazy. How about Chino, California? One of my good friends lives here. Okay? My friend Art. He monitors this channel too. He's watching. I know he's watching. Look what we have here. We have tremors all over the place. But look at the top. After 5 a.m. this morning, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes after 5. 5:06 a.m. we have a 2.0 earthquake. He goes off the paper here. That's why I know it's at least a 2.0 earthquake. Off the chart. All the rest of these appear to be tremors. But these are the most tremors I've seen here in a long, long time. A long time, ladies and gentlemen. Chino, California. Let's look at Del Amo. Look at this. This is Del Amo, California. This is all tremor activity. It's almost closed off all of the white paper. That is how active the seismic energy is here. Del Amo, California. just north of downtown Los Angeles. Okay? I know many of you have lived and worked in this area. Many of you have lived and worked in this area. It's crazy, guys. I kid you not, it's nuts. Lisa Marie, please do not put capital letters here. The only capital letters were allowed as at the beginning of a sentence. Okay? Please do not put capital letters here in the chat. Okay? The platform thinks that is yelling. Okay? So please don't do that. Rob 52 used to live in Los Angeles. He says, this is nuts. 4.3 off of Chiapas, Mexico, in southern Mexico. Just now. Okay? Space Force AL says USGS disputes all earthquakes above 6.0, the cutoff line. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They sure do. They sure do. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. Okay? I've seen it. I've seen these yo-yos work. Heaven forbid we can know the truth. Somebody's going to get killed because they cannot tell us the truth. I find that horrific. Ellis, California, look at this. This is not just tremors here, guys. We're actually having at least 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here in Ellis, California. This is the most seismic events we've had here in Ellis ever. The strongest and the most seismic events we've had here in at least 4 years. 4 years, over 4 years that I've been doing this. These are the largest events in Ellis yet. Okay? This is insane. This is the Emergency Operations Center. Look at this. This is gobbledygook. This is gobbledygook. There's nothing truthful about any of this. Seismic events don't happen like this. They don't. This is what they call abstract. I call it gobbledygook. Okay? The agency we pay money to, and this is what they do. Let's go out to Lancaster, out towards the desert. This is the Fox Airport in Lancaster. There happens to be a United States Air Force base out here. Look what's happening. This is also the San Andreas Fault. These are all tremors out here in Lancaster at Fox Airport. Let's go down again down to Idlewild. This is just north of Cabazon. It's north of the Anza-Borrego Desert area. Look at this. This also is a San Andreas Fault acting. We have tiny tremors all over this place. The rest of it is all microquake activity. Okay? This is Idlewild. I have been to Idlewild I don't know how many times. Idlewild is a beautiful ski village. It's a place to go. Summer, fall, winter, or spring. Hiking and skiing. And people even camp here in the summer. Beautiful town. Restaurants throughout. Knick-knack and souvenir shops everywhere. A beautiful town. Cabins. A-frame cabins that I stayed in. Beautiful. They have a radio, but that's all. They have no TVs. Beautiful area, guys. I highly recommend it. They ought to pay me to talk about the town. All you see here are microquakes and minor tremors. Occasionally we'll see a minor earthquake here as well. Idlewild, California. Then we go further south to Joshua Tree, out in the desert. Look at this. Again, on the San Andreas Fault. We have minor tremors everywhere, off and on throughout the entire day here in Joshua Tree. Occasionally I go here and show you what's going on. This is what's happening. Joshua Tree National Park. Let's go back towards Los Angeles. Let's go over to the beach. This is Laguna Bell. This is Laguna Bell. Look at all these tremors here. There's not a microquake anywhere. These are all 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremors. All day long. Tremors cannot be felt, but this is ongoing every day. I can show you day after day after day here in Laguna Bell. This is happening. All the time. All the time. Now, let me take you down to Long Beach area, just east of Long Beach. Let's go to look at Light Hype. This is the busiest I have seen ever at Light Hype. 2 weeks ago I showed you Light Hype and it had calmed down. There was some active areas of 1.3, 1.5, 1.8 tremors, and even occasionally 2.0 earthquake. Here, folks, we have more than just tremors. These are 2.0 at best, at least, not at best. Up at the top on the top line, just after 5 a.m. this morning, about 5:05 a.m. this morning, we have a 2.0 earthquake. We go over about 10 minutes later to the right. Again, we see another earthquake going up to the top of the paper, a 2.0 earthquake. We have at least 2.0, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes. Look at the bottom line here. Okay? We're looking at 2 p.m. and 2:15. The black line here that you see at the bottom is after 2 p.m. 2 p.m. over on the left-hand side, and 2:15 over on the left-hand side in the red. Look what we're seeing. Over in the red, at 2:19 p.m. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake, nearly a 3.0 small earthquake here. That's big. That's big, guys. This is Light Hype, just east of Long Beach. On the black line above it, look at these 2.0s. 2.0s, 2.2, 2.3s even. That's big. That's big. I can't tell you anymore, guys. It's getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. I'm telling you guys, this is off the charts. This is literally off the charts. I have never in my life seen it like this. I've been doing this 4.5 years. 4.5 years. This is crazy. This is lunacy. This is lunacy, guys. Let me show you just east of there. Yes, I get worked up about this. This is State Street. Look at this, guys. Top to bottom, side to side earthquakes. Now, yes, there are some tremors mixed in here. But look at the earthquakes off the paper, top and bottom of this seismogram. There is no white mixed in anywhere inside this seismogram. This is constant and consistent tremors and earthquakes happening all day long here in the Long Beach area. The Anaheim, Long Beach area, guys. This is proof of it. Michael McKinney says he's never seen this kind of activity before. Mila Wren Michael is saying, is it solar activity? This is possible that this might be considered to be what happens with solar activity. We have had some CMEs. If you noticed your television, your satellite television, your cable television misbehaving and showing all sorts of disruption and static, that's what happens when we have solar flares. Yes, we get more and more earthquakes. Yes, we do. And we're highly prone to earthquakes in this area. But why are we not seeing sixes down in the South Pacific? I'm asking you, why are we not seeing 6.0s and 7.0s down in the South Pacific where we are earthquake prone? We have not seen that. We've seen some 5s, yes. We've seen a lot of 4s recently, yes. What is going on? And we've only seen a handful of deep earthquakes. What is going on with that? Usually we see a ton of deep earthquakes. We're not seeing that now. For the last 2 weeks, we have not seen many deep earthquakes at all. But we're seeing this. Long Beach, Anaheim area, guys, look out. Look out. I'm telling you, look out. Lompoc. We have a great big huge air base out here at Lompoc between Santa Barbara and Lompoc. Up here at Lompoc, we're seeing some minor tremors. 1.1 tremors. That's it. 90% of this is all microquake here at Lompoc. I've never shown you this because there hasn't been really anything to show you here at Lompoc. But we are getting sizable information here. That's why I want to show that to you tonight. How about downtown Los Angeles? At the big state, well, not the state, the city and county building of LA. Look at this. All this is our tremor activity, and some activity this morning that's larger tremor activity. After 8:15 a.m. this morning, look at that. Right on the left center of the seismogram. 1.3, maybe even 1.4 tremors here after 6 a.m. this morning. 6:15 this morning. Okay? Again, this is the most activity we've seen in Los Angeles here. This is the most activity. Are they suppressing the data? Possibly. Possibly. Because yes, we have seen larger activity than that. But not lately. Not lately. Now, we talked about Loma Linda, didn't we? We showed you a 0.5 magnitude tremor at Loma Linda, didn't we? Okay? Yeah, we did. Let me show you what happened at Loma Linda and Mira Loma today. Look at this. This does not look like a 1.5, or excuse me, 1.5 tremor at Loma Linda, or a 0.5 microquake at Loma Linda. This is just south of Loma Linda at Mira Loma. We're seeing tremors, yes. 1.0, 1.3, 1.5, and even 1.9 tremors here. Look at it. Look at the bottom red line here, over on the left-hand side. 1.5, 1.7, 1.9 tremors this afternoon. And we have tremors throughout the seismogram. So it's more than just a 0.5 microquake, more than just a 1.5 tremor. This proves that there's a lot more going on here than they're saying on the USGS map. That's why I spent so much time showing you the map. Because they're lying about it. They're lying through their teeth. How about again north of Los Angeles here at Moore Park? Look at this. Tremors all day long. 1.0 at the small side on up to 1.5 tremors at Moore Park. Yes, we've seen more activity here at Moore Park in the past, but we're still seeing a great deal of activity at Moore Park. Okay? North Hollywood. We have seen nothing but trash here today. This seismogram is trash. This is artifact. This is not what you see on a seismogram. I've shown you hundreds of seismograms before now. It does not look anything like this. This is garbage. This is what they call artifact. And this is what we get out of Caltech today. North Hollywood. We've seen a lot of activity in North Hollywood, and that's not it. That's not it. Let's go over to Palomar Observatory. Look at this. They're not showing but a couple 0.2s, 1.0 tremors. That's it. This afternoon at Palomar Observatory in northeast San Diego County. Northeast San Diego County, guys, why are they not showing us actual information? Because again, they are lying through their dadgum teeth. Pardee, north of Los Angeles, look at this. Yes, we've seen more activity than this at Pardee before. But again, we're seeing 1.5, 1.6, 1.7 tremors off and on all day. Yes, there are some microquake activity here, but tremors all over the place, and it's consistent. It's not every just once in a while, it's consistent tremors. That was Pardee. Let's go out to the desert. Rancho Mirage. Look at this. This is on the San Andreas Fault. This is tremor activity on the San Andreas Fault. Okay? Rancho Mirage. Again, this is the most activity I've seen at Rancho Mirage in quite some time. Let's go down into Los Angeles, northeast of Los Angeles. This is Rancho Palos Verdes. Rancho Palos Verdes. This is not what we've seen in the past. This is the least amount of activity we have seen. Okay? Yes, we have some 1.0 tremors. We have some 1.2, 1.3 tremors. In the past year, we've seen actual 2.0 earthquakes. Okay? This is south of Ventura. Rancho Palos Verdes. Okay, let's continue here. Rinaldi. Let's go over to Rinaldi. Look at this. Almost constant tremors here. Almost constant tremors. You can see it. It does not stop. From 5 a.m. at the top left-hand corner all the way down here after 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2:20 this afternoon. Constant tremor activity here. Okay? That's Rinaldi. Let's go over here and show you Rio Hondo. Look at this. Again, this is the most activity we've seen at Rio Hondo as well. I've never seen anything like this before. Constant tremor activity. I do not see any earthquakes at all in Rio Hondo. I have seen 2.00 in the past. But this is constant tremor activity, and it started ramping up after 5 a.m. It started off with 1.3 constantly. You can see it. Then it ramped up to 1.4, 1.5 tremors. And it was continuous all day long here. Rio Hondo, California. Okay? I've never seen anything like that. Riverside. This is the least activity I've seen at Riverside ever. Ever. We may have 1.0 activity, and that's it. 1.0 tremors constant here. We've seen 1.3, 1.5 tremors continuously here. This is the least amount of seismic activity we've seen ever in 4.5 years. Okay? I'm not stopping. There's a lot more than this. I want to show you San Onofre. No, yes, let's go out to San Onofre, where the nuclear power plant is. Look at this. Spot on and off again, 1.0 tremors, and that's all. Again, this is more activity than we've seen at San Onofre in a long time. Usually it's hit and miss period. Maybe 10 microquakes a day, 10 1.0 tremors a day. That's all. That's all. San Onofre is ramped up again. Okay? Now, let's go over to San Jacinto. San Jacinto Fault. This is Hemet. This is Hemet, California. Look at this. Again, this is the most activity we've had here at this location. This is San Jacinto campus. It's a college campus up here in Hemet, the San Jacinto campus. Look at these tremors and minor earthquakes. Okay? Just after 8 a.m. over on the left-hand side, look at those minor earthquakes. 2.0 earthquakes. Then again after 9:40 a.m. this morning, on the blue line in the center of this seismogram, another 2.0 earthquake. And you see the after portion of it, the secondary quake. Okay? The second wave, the secondary wave, off to the side of that. That's really something. This is Hemet, California. Hemet, California, guys. I haven't seen that before. Look at this at Santa Barbara. Okay? Guys, this is not seismic energy. What you're seeing here in these 6 lines here, that is magma activity coming west to east through Santa Barbara. This is from the seismograph at Santa Barbara Fire Station 18. This is magma. This has nothing to do with seismic energy. This is magma, guys. Unreal. This is absolutely astonishing, guys. This is the first time we have seen magma here. And I check all these seismograms every day. Every day. I go through 150 plus seismograms every day. I have never seen magma here, ever. My dear friend Rob52 just gave us a $10 super chat. Rob, thank you so much, guy. I really appreciate that. God bless you, brother. Rob is an awesome man, guys. He really is. He is. Demon Cat was the first one in our chat tonight. Thank you, Demon Cat. Demon Cat, man, is a great guy. I've gotten emails from him. I've gotten to know him. He's a great man, too. Rob, thank you so much. God bless you, my friend. At Santa Barbara here, we have magma. Magma coming in off the coast, feeding the volcanoes to the east. Yes, guys, what do we have out there? We have Koza Volcano, don't we? There's magma flowing to the east through magma channels here along the coast. I've never seen that before. Never seen it before. One more in Los Angeles, then we'll go south. This is Walnut La Puente. This is a volcano. This is a volcanic caldera in Los Angeles in Walnut La Puente, California. Look here, guys, these are earthquakes. Earthquakes as a result of magma here in Los Angeles. Look at these earthquakes. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. Some of these earthquakes, they've cut the top and the bottom off, so we don't know exactly how strong they are, and so I'm calling it, like I believe, is to be 3.5 earthquakes. That's heavy. That's heavy. Yes, we do have a lot of minor tremors here. Granted. We've got some 2.0 earthquakes. Granted. 2.5s, 3.0s. All over this seismogram. And I believe upwards of 3.5 as well. That's a lot of earthquakes in this area. And I'm surprised that some of this seismic energy is not being felt outside that community. People are feeling this energy. People are feeling this seismic event happen because that volcano is resurging. It's recharging. It hasn't erupted for thousands of years. It's recharging, and you see it here. You see it here. Now, I want to take you south. The first place I'm going to go is San Diego, my old hometown of San Diego. The first place I'm going to go is San Diego Gas and Electric Building. They have a seismograph in the San Diego Gas and Electric Building just near the shoreline, within 10 miles of the shoreline in San Diego. This is north of Mission Valley. I don't remember the street that this is on, where I'd tell you. In fact, one of these days I got to look it up. But I've been up and down the street. I've been here. I've actually been at this building. Look at these tremors here. Nothing but tremors, but this is the most active this seismogram's ever been. The most active seismogram here at San Diego Gas and Electric. I've never seen it before. Not like this. Yes, we've seen some on again, off again tremors, but that's not what's going on here. These are constant tremors all day long here in San Diego. Wow. Wow. Guess what? Let's go out to East County, San Diego. Southeast San Diego County. This is Campo Elementary School. Out here we have the San Jacinto Fault. Look at all these tremors on the San Jacinto Fault. All over the place. The Palomar Mountain earthquake we've had, the tremors and stuff on Palomar Mountain, the San Jacinto Fault, guys. Here at Campo Elementary School as well. Let's go out to a place that I've been to before, many times before. I want to go out to Imperial Valley, California. Okay? The first thing I'm going to show you is an area they call Elmore Ranch. Elmore Ranch. E-L-M-O-R-E Ranch. Elmore Ranch, California. Yes, we've got some tremors here at Elmore Ranch. Let me show them to you. Let's see here. Where did they go? Right here. Just some very minor tremors here. There's a lot of microquakes here as well. This is over on the southwestern corner of the Salton Sea. Okay? Next, I'm going to take you for a trip to Westmoreland. Westmoreland, California. Westmoreland, California stretches from the southwestern part of the Salton Sea and goes east and south. East and south. You see two tremors here. Actually, one tremor 1.9, which was a 2.0 earthquake, and then another 2.0 earthquake here. These both were 2.0s until USGS downgraded one to 1.9. 7 miles northwest of Westmoreland. Now, see that town at the bottom of your slide here? That's Westmoreland. It's a very tiny town, and you see the tremor, or see those minor earthquakes to the north of there. 7 miles north of Westmoreland, California. This is south of the Salton Sea. Of course. Of course. Now, I want to show you over at El Centro. This is the seismograph, coming from the seismograph at El Centro Naval Air Station. Look at this, guys. These are not just minor earthquakes. Yes, we have a bunch of minor tremors here as well. But look at these earthquakes. 3.0 earthquakes. 3.0 earthquakes off and on all day long here at El Centro Naval Air Station in the Imperial Valley. Okay, isn't that something? Isn't that something? Don Patoka, I'm going to come back to your chat here in just a second. I want to talk about that in just a few minutes. Thank you for putting that up there. I very much appreciate it. Okay, so I showed you El Centro, I showed you Westmoreland, I showed you Elmer's Ranch. Okay, guess where I'm going? I'm going over to the center part of the Salton Sea, on the east side of the Salton Sea. This, folks, is a place I love to be at. I've been down here. I've been down here many times. Okay? I've shown you the seismograph from here many, many times. This is Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach. It's on the southeast side of the Salton Sea. There's a cove right here where this is. Look at these earthquakes here. Several of these earthquakes have been topped and bottomed off. These are at least 3.3 magnitude earthquakes. At least 3.3 magnitude earthquakes. On and on and on. Some of these lasting 2 to 2.5 minutes. At the top one. That one starts off with just minor microquakes coming into minor tremors just after 5:15 this morning. Okay? Then about 5:19 we start getting some good sized tremors. Then it turns into a 2.3 earthquake. Then it turns into at least a 3.5 magnitude earthquake. It was larger than what they're showing here because they cut it off. Okay? Down here on that green line, just below that on the right hand side, you see more earthquakes here. You see some tremors that build into earthquakes. They top that one off too, but yet it continues on the black line beneath it. That green line was 5:45 this morning on the left-hand side. So this started, folks, at 5:57 a.m. this morning. And it continued till after 6:01. 6:01 and 20 seconds even. So this earthquake lasted 3 minutes. This 3+ earthquake lasted 3 minutes. And look at the one on the line just above 8 a.m. this morning. You see 8 a.m. over on the left-hand side? Just above it is the green line. That actually started on the right-hand side on the blue line. Again, it was cut off. 3.3, 3.5 earthquakes at minimum. And this one lasted 4 minutes. Look at all of these. Yes, we have some tremors. We have some earthquakes as well that turn out to be tremors after that. That is after 10:15 this morning. We have some tremors, turns into an earthquake, probably a 3.0 earthquake, then it goes back down to tremors, and it lasts for 5 minutes. That's an awful lot of shaking. And you see the threes off and on all over the place here. Folks, that is on the south side of the Imperial Fault / San Andreas Fault down here in the Imperial Valley. Where the San Andreas Fault enters the Imperial Valley, they term it the Imperial Fault in the Imperial Valley. So that's what we see here at Bombay Beach. If you remember the great Los Angeles earthquake movie, it starts off when a USGS researcher goes over to Bombay Beach in his Jeep and drives over and sees tremors over at the Salton Sea at Bombay Beach. And by the end of that movie, we have a huge catastrophic earthquake in Los Angeles. Here we're seeing earthquakes here in Bombay Beach. We see increased earthquake activity in Los Angeles. No joke, Sherlock. This is happening. This is happening, guys. I showed you an earthquake that happened down in Holtville. In Holtville today. Look at the tremors that happened in Holtville today. This seismogram comes from the Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville, California. I've been there before, several times. Look at all these tremors, nearly 2.0 earthquakes as well. Some of them may be 2.0 earthquakes. This is in Holtville. earthquakes throughout the Imperial County that USGS is not showing us. Why? Why is USGS not showing us these earthquakes? Because these people are in peril. Not only do we have the San Andreas Fault, but we have the San Jacinto Fault, we have the Elsinore Fault. Look out, guys. This area is dangerous. And yes, USGS might say, oh, Ron's blowing it out of proportion. No, I'm not. I have shown you the earthquakes to back my statement up. I've shown you the earthquakes on the data sheets, the seismograms, to back my statement up. There's going to be large earthquakes here. Space Force AL says, crazy story. Elon Musk with technology from SpaceX was going to laser San Francisco Bay Area and crack it off. Who knows? I don't think he's going to do that at all. I don't think Elon Musk would pull that off, whether he wanted to or not. I don't think he wants to do that at all. Okay? Yeah, that might be a story out there. But I have never met Elon Musk, but I don't think he'd want to kill off millions of people in Los Angeles by lasering it off. I just don't see Elon doing that. Elon is a lot more conservative than that. Now, folks, I have shown you pieces of information from everywhere today, all over Southern California. You can't deny it. You can't overlook this. You can't even overlook this. This is happening more and more. It's happening more and more. My friend, my associate, my pal from Salt Lake, Don Patoka, put up a chat here that I want to put out to all of you who may not be watching but listening. According to FEMA, 95% of the U.S. population has much less than a 2-week food supply. They suggest a minimum of 6 months. Those are in the documents from FEMA. Folks in the know suggest up to 2 years food supply. Why? Because you need to be prepared. We've talked extensively about this. I told you a story from back in 2014. FEMA wanted to know how many emergency managers like myself had 72-hour kits. At the time, they were asking everyone to have a 72-hour kit. Guess what they found out? Only 25% or less of the emergency managers throughout the country, the United States of America, had a 72-hour kit, meaning food, water, and supplies to last at least 72 hours, 3 days. 3 days, guys. What are you doing? Is my question. What are you doing? Why? Why am I asking that? Because, folks, I want to make sure that everyone has an emergency food supply. I want to make sure that everyone is prepared. Why?
Location, North Atlantic Ocean. Class, moderate magnitude, 5.0. Depth, 6.2 miles. 25 minutes ago.
Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 5.0, 22 minutes ago. A 5.0, 22 minutes ago in the Mid-Atlantic. That's a large earthquake. They're calling it a minor earthquake. What kind of crap is that? A destructive earthquake that can do damage, and they're calling it minor? They don't know what they're talking about. Folks, you need to have your food supply ready. You need to have a supply of water. No one can go much more than 3 days without water. My stepson asked me last night, how long can one go without food and water? Not much past 3 days, especially in this heat. You can't last. Everything is showing an increase here, guys, all over Southern California. All over Southern California. Yes, specific places may not be showing that, but north, south, and east of that is showing it. The earth is moving all over Southern California, guys. And I want all of my friends, my relatives, your friends, and your relatives safe. I want to make sure you're going to be okay when a disaster strikes. It may not be an earthquake. It may be a military action. It might be political. Whatever the case, folks, please be prepared. I'm begging you, please be prepared. Don Patoka says relying on a federal cavalry when a major adversity strikes is risky. The government is reactive, not proactive. They react, they're not proactive. And when they react, sometimes they don't go far enough, and sometimes they go too far, and people get hurt by it. You need to have a 72-hour kit. Plain and simple. I'm asking you all to make sure you have an emergency supply kit. Earthquakes are going to happen, and I'm talking major earthquakes are going to happen in Southern California and Northern California. It's going to happen. I just got through showing you the seismograms to prove what I'm talking about. You need water. You cannot get through this heat wave that is happening without water. And you're not going to be able to survive very long without food as well. The algebra is of threes here. Don Patoka just put it up. Exposure, 3 hours equals death. No water, no H2O for 3 days equals death. 0 food for 3 weeks equals death. Those are the facts. Those are the facts. What are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it? Folks, please share this program with everybody you come in contact with. Please share it with your friends, your family, your extended family, your neighbors, the people you associate with on social media, and also the people you work with. There's not one person here that can't share this program with somebody they know that means anything to you. Everybody needs to see this program that lives in or around Southern California. That's 4 million people that need to see this program right here. Right here. We've talked a lot about earthquakes all around the world today. USGS did very little to talk about earthquakes anywhere. They didn't even show the earthquakes happening in Iceland. There's at least 20 earthquakes in Iceland and an erupting volcano. What kind of crap is that? And they're the preeminent earthquake agency? Bullcrap. I would love to take over the USGS right now. I would fire half of the supervisors, and then I would put the others on preliminary termination unless they picked up their workload and took it and started telling people the truth. I would fire them as well, and I'd rehire people, or not rehire, but I hired people that would do the work. And I'm sure there are thousands of resumes out there of people who would do the work honestly. Mr. Biden, get off your A blank blank and get the work done. Stop lying to the people. And I'm talking to your administration as well. Get off the get off the pot, or we'll get somebody else to do it for you, because you won't do it. Yes, this administration's a piece of work. Okay? Bunch of crap. Anyway, guys, share this program everywhere. I also want you to also check your subscriptions. 25% of the people that watch this program are not subscribed to this program. And YouTube keeps unsubscribing people. I get that from everybody, including Dawn and Rob, that check their subscriptions on a regular basis. They keep getting unsubscribed too. And I think Demon Catman has been unsubscribed too. Folks, check your subscriptions and make sure you're still subscribed. If you're not, please subscribe to this program. And when you do that, click on that little bell. There's a bell in a circle. Click on that bell icon. There will be a drop-down menu of 3 items that will come up. Click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. Okay? Check it often, because YouTube keeps unsubscribing people often. Okay? Keep checking it. Don't let them unsubscribe you, and make sure that they keep you notified. If not, unsubscribe and resubscribe immediately. And click on that little bell icon and click on the word ALL, all, making sure you get notified when we come on the air. Know this: between 6 and 7 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday, we do come on the air. And occasionally, like we've already done this week, we come on the air with a special program because of an earthquake or a tsunami or some such emergency around the world, even a volcanic eruption. We come on the air about it. We've come on the air about shootings. We've come on the air to do a special program when there's been an explosion at an oil refinery in Texas. Several of them in Texas we've come on the air about. We've come on the air during hurricanes. We've come on the air to talk about tornadoes. I helped send doctors and nurses to the Joplin, Missouri tornado because a hospital came undone by a tornado, and they needed doctors and nurses, and I was able to notify doctors and nurses in Salt Lake City and San Diego that I knew, and they went to Joplin City, Missouri to help. Disasters happen every day, someplace. I want all of you to help me put that information out. I don't care if you live in Romania. I don't care whether you live in Britain, in Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. We have people that watch this program there. If you have an emergency in your city, town, or country, email me. My email is in that banner right directly in front of you today. It's in the banner right up here. You can find my email all over the place. My telephone number in the United States is there as well. Okay? I want to thank also a buddy of mine in Pennsylvania, a friend of the program, Nanogap, sent me this cool card. It says, "You're awesome." This is the first card I've ever gotten like this. Thank you, Nanogap. I appreciate it. He also sent us a donation. I appreciate that too. God bless you for that. God bless you. It helps us keep this program on the air, and it's also helping me keep doctors off my back because I'm having to pay doctor's bills for my cancer treatment. And by the way, I've got some new news about that as well. I've got a bone scan coming up the end of this month on the 28th in the morning. So I would ask for your prayers as well. Keep me in your prayers, and thank you for your support. We have 2 PayPal locations that are listed in the program description here at the top of it. tonight. We also have a Venmo location where you can help support us there as well. We appreciate any and all donations we get from there as well, and thank you for that. Many of you do donate to our program, and I thank you. Rob gave us a super chat tonight. God bless you, my dear friend. My mods, guys, my mods here are awesome people. They really are. They're top of the line people, every one of them. One of our mods that I give recognition to all the time is in charge of weather over on our disaster site on Facebook. She does an awesome job. We appreciate her too. We appreciate all of you. I mentioned Demon Cat, I mentioned Rob, I mentioned Dawn. Diane is here. I can't tell you how much you all mean to me. You're my family. All of you here in the EMA family are family to me. I don't want to lose any of you like I just lost one of my best friends. You guys mean the world to me, and I thank you for being here. I thank you for participating. I thank you for your support, both prayers and otherwise. Thank you for being here, part of our program. Share this program everywhere. Before you leave today, if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up. Also, if you have commented, comment again below these programs. We appreciate any and all comments. YouTube likes to see comments. That's part of their analytical thing that they let us or let other people on YouTube see our program. The more comments we get, the number of hours that people watch our program. If you watch our program from start to finish, they look at that. They look at the number of thumbs up we get, the number of people who are watching our program. They watch it all. It all goes into a great big analytical factor whether YouTube lets other people see this program. Please, folks, help us spread the word about Emergency Management Associates. It's just not me, it's all of you. Now, folks, I love you. I love you more than anything. I ask the Lord to bless you, to be with you through your hard times as well. God bless my dear friend and his family. He was a great support to me. He was a great leader. And his family are wonderful people too. I'll put more information up about him as we get more information out of Belize. Now, God bless you all. Please return here tomorrow evening. If anything happens between now and then, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, have a great night. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody.